Well, this is Mrs. Davis. This is AP Pre-Calc. This is Unit 3B review, and we're on number 30. And the directions for this state that you're to analyze each polar function, and then you're going to answer these questions. So we're going to go back and try to figure out how we do these. So problem 30 says f of theta is 2 minus 4 cosine theta. So we know that this is a limicon, and A is less than B, so we have a looped. Okay, we have a looped one. Now, we also know that cosine is negative, so we're going to be to the left. We have A plus B is negative 2, so that's where the loop will be, and A minus B is equal to 6, so that's the maximum and maximum distance from the pole, and we know that A is 2, so those will be our widths. So graphing this, we are going to have 6, it's to the left, so remember we're 6 here, we're 2 here, and 2 here, and we have a negative 2 loop. Okay, so here's our loop, and then it's a lot fatter than that, so let's start again. Okay, not so great at this. Okay, so we'll start down here, come up, and go through here. I don't know why my pen won't let me write wide. There we go. Coming down around, wide, back, and like that. So there we go. It's starting out here, going around till it gets back here. Okay, so we have our graph. Find the range of the positive x values on the domain 0 to 2. So for which the y values are negative. Okay, so we have to find where the y values are negative. And so the easiest way I know to do that, by the way, this is calculator active. So what we can do is we can solve for our zeros. And I don't need to do that on the calculator. I can do it by hand. It'll give me my trig function answers instead of decimal answers, so I think that's wiser for this. But then I can go look to see which sign is positive, negative. So I'm going to say that I have 2 minus 4 cosine theta is 0. So cosine theta is 1/2, positive 1/2. So my zeros are when theta is pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. Is that right? Pi over 3, 4 pi, 3 pi, yeah, 5 pi, no. Hang on. 5 pi over 3. Okay, so I'm going to make a little sign chart with those numbers on it. So 0 and to 2 pi, and then I'm going to have pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3 on my sign chart. And then I'm looking at my calculator, and it's below 0 here, and then above 0 here, and below 0 here. So put this actual function into your calculator, and you know, instead of, you got the zeros as you know, radian angles, not decimals, and so, but then use the picture to see where it's negative and positive. That's my best advice. So that means my y values are negative from right here, 0 to pi over 3, and then 5 pi over 3 to 2 pi. So 0 to pi over 3, and then also from 5 pi over 3 to 2 pi. Now just ask where they're negative, not equal to 0, so that's all I'm going to write for that. Now it says find the intervals where r is increasing. Okay, so if you look at your graph, you can see that your graph goes, from it's negative, and then it goes positive, and then it comes back negative. And so increasing would be from here to the max. And if you looked at your calculator, that comes out to be 3.14 pi. So 0 to pi would be where it's increasing. All right, let's do this next one. We have f of theta is 5 cosine 3 theta. So this is going to be a rose with 3 petals. All right, and we know that it's symmetric. It's cosine, so symmetric to the polar axis. Cosine is positive, so it would be to the right, starting to the right. And let's see, we have the maximum, A is 5. So we would have a point here, and then we have that petal. And then remember, it comes around this way, and then it comes around this way. So we start out here, coming through here, back through here, and around. Okay, so we want to find the values. This time they have you where theta is 0, so this is finding our zeros. So we're going to say now the domain for this one would be just a pi, okay? And so we can go, okay, we're going to say 5 cosine theta is equal to 0. So 3 theta. All right, wait a minute. We have a 3 theta, right? So we're going to let u equal 3 theta. So 5 cosine u is equal to 0. So u would be, now we have to change it from 0 to pi to 0 to 3 pi now, because we're using the 3 theta as u. So u would be, going all the way around, cosine u would be pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, 5 pi over 2, and 7 pi over 2. And so then theta is u over 3. So theta would be pi over 6, 3 pi over 6, which is pi over 2, and then 5 pi over 6, and 7 pi over 6. Those are the places that theta is equal to 0. So you have that answer. And then it says find the intervals where the distance r from the pole is increasing. Okay, so that's worded weird. The distance from r, like where the distance of r is away from the pole is increasing. Okay, so we have to, for that, we have to have where it's positive and also where it's increasing. So the best way to do that, and also use your calculator to find all these, but you need the points that aren't in decimal or you drive yourself crazy, is we got to graph this 5 cosine 3 theta, and then we'll look at the graph to see where it's increasing and where it's positive, and we'll put those onto that graph sign chart deal. Okay, so this is the best way I know to do it. So let's just start here. Okay, let's see, we've got a 3 theta, we've got a 5. It doesn't really matter then about our, we're not moving, we don't have a vertical shift up, so it's kind of nice. We can just go smack dab in the middle. Now, we do need to figure out our period. Our period is, we have 3 theta, so that would be 2 pi over 3 would get me one guy, right? So if I'm going to start at 0, then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe I should stretch that out a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be 2 pi over 3, right? And so this would be pi over 6. 3 pi over 6 or pi over 2. Pi over 6, 2 pi over 6. That's not pi over 2, it's what? Pi over 3? My brain stopped. 2 pi over 6, which is pi over 3. So pi over 3, and then 3 pi over 6, which is pi over 2, right? 3 pi over 6, which is pi over 2. All right, so those are going to be our intervals that we know that we can do increasing and decreasing on, because we're going to sketch that graph in, right? So we know that it starts out at 5, so it's going to be up here, and then down here, and then here, and then here, and then here. And you can see our zeros keep going. So in order to get that whole flower, so we're going to keep going. That's 4 pi over 6, so this would be 5 pi over 6. And then pi, and then 7 pi over 6. Okay, so here we go. This is our graph. And you can see the zeros are happening where they're supposed to be happening. Okay, so all right. So when we do our increasing, decreasing, I'll use different colors. So we're positive. Let's see, I said I'd use different colors and I didn't. We're positive, and then we're negative, negative in those 2 pieces. And then we're positive, positive, and then we're negative, negative. And now let's say what's going, this is decreasing, right? It's still decreasing. Now I'm increasing. I'm just following my graph. I'm increasing now. I'm still increasing. Then I start decreasing, continue decreasing, and then increasing again. And so then this would be, yeah, okay. So, I'm pretty sure, I'm double checking, but I'm pretty sure that I don't need to say that last 0, 7 pi over 6. I'm going to triple check though real quick. Hang on. Yeah, it's 2 pi, so we're going to just mark that one out. If we're wanting the zeros, this is past pi. Okay, so, we want to stop where we need to stop, right? At pi. Okay, so I'm looking now. Remember, where the distance from the pole is increasing is where we have positive and increasing, or negative and decreasing. So let's just go pull off those. So I'm going to go little by little. I have positive decreasing, so that's not where the distance is increasing. I have negative decreasing here, though, so there's one right there. So let's get that written here. That would be pi over 6. Sorry. I did it in my highlighter instead of my pen. Pi over 6 to pi over 3 would be one place. Now let's keep going. Negative increasing, no. Positive increasing, no, yes. So back to pi over 2 to 2 pi over 3. And then let's keep going. Let's keep checking. I have positive, negative, no, but here's another negative, negative at the very end. So back here, I have till 5 pi over 6 to pi. Now, if you want to look at what's going on, I get back to 0. Like, let's compare these two. Let's just take a second. Compare the sign chart in your picture. So if you're starting here, and you're going from 0 to pi over 6, okay, you're decreasing, and then you're going to come around, and my distance, you can see my distance is from the pole is increasing from pi over 6 to pi over 3, and then pi over 2 to 2 pi over 3. And then for 5 pi over 6 to pi. So let's say what's happening. This is this is negative and decreasing. And this is positive and increasing, and this is negative and decreasing. So we start here, right? If we put in 0 into this, we get 5. So we start here, and then we're going here. So this distance is decreasing till we get to pi over 6. Okay? But then remember, coming through here, right? So then I'm getting further away. This is further away. And so that's between pi over 6 to pi over 3 here, right? This is pi over 3. And then after pi over 3 going back to 0, I'm getting closer. And then coming back up after pi over 3, right? I'm going back, and then I get closer again. This is going farther away and then back closer again. And then lastly, this part. I find it easier to do this, especially if you can use your calculator. You know, get these points yourself. Get your period right, get your zeros in there, and then use your calculator to tell you what's going on with positive and negative. Okay, that should help. All right, so I'll do the last two on a separate video.